Hi guys, I'm Benny. I'm here to talk to you today about SagePay for Pastel Evolution, and I'm just going to take you through what SagePay can do within your Pastel solution, how it's integrated, and how it can benefit you. But before we start, I just want to tell you a bit more about SagePay and who we are. So SagePay is owned by the Sage Group. What it basically means is if you deal with SagePay, you are dealing with Sage. We all belong to the same group and company. Also, SagePay are regulated by the same institutions that regulate your bank. And if you look at the screen, you'll see that we are regulated by PASA, which is the Payments Association of South Africa. We are Pci Compliance. For those of you who don't know what Pci Compliance is, it means that we don't store credit card details on our system at all, basically in a nutshell. We are registered with the FSB and obviously registered with SARS as well. A lot of times clients ask us about our security simply because we deal with sensitive information, financial information, we deal with money and funds. Because we're regulated by the same institutions as the bank, it means our security needs to be the same as well. So we comply with the demands on security that we find with your bank. Our information is protected and backed up across 3 servers in the country, and that should sort of take care of the whole security thing from a back office point of view. All right, so we're now going to be chatting quickly with our integration to Sage Evolution, and I'll show you how to do a setup for Sage Evolution to process through SagePay, how it works. I'll be dealing specifically with customer and supplier payments inside your Sage Evolution. All right. So before we get there, I just want to quickly tell you guys why SagePay is probably a better way to go than what you find with your normal standard online banking. All right. First of all, with our Pay Now service, you can get paid faster. And the way we do it is we offer your clients more ways to pay. So instead of having your normal EFT or sometimes cash payments, you can now go to your clients and on a Pastel Evolution invoice, you can offer them credit card payments, instant EFT, cash payments, MasterPass, Visa, and normal EFT. It's also easier to make payments. So when you look at paying your suppliers, and instead of going again to your banking and doing it manually from there, because of our seamless integration, SagePay can process your payments by directly taking the payments or the supply invoices from a Pastel Evolution and creating a payments batch within SagePay. It's also an easy way to manage your risk a bit better. So with a SagePay account, you have the option to use our risk report services. And this includes bank account verifications for employees or suppliers. Includes credit checks, includes company reports. There's a whole list of reports that you can get from SagePay, and most of them is real time or live. So you should get an immediate report or response by using the risk report service. Also, we consider reconciliation quite important, and we spend a lot of time and effort in trying to get it right. So with your SagePay account, you get a fully itemized statement with all your transactions in one place. That is integrated to Pastel Evolution and allows for automatic allocations. Now, if you can imagine, you did a couple of hundred of supplier payments, or got a couple of hundred customer invoices in, SagePay can allocate those for you in your statement if you're using Bank Manager, which just saves a whole bunch of time. All right, so let's quickly go to how does Sage Evolution work and how to do the setup. All right, the first thing that we have to do is we have to link your Sage Evolution software to your SagePay account. And we do this by method of what we call service keys. It's a key that you obtain from your SagePay account. You copy and paste it in your Pastel Evolution, and it is linked. And I'm going to quickly show you how to do that. In Pastel Evolution, you go to Common. You go to Company Details. And you click on the SagePay tab. And we've already entered the service keys here. If you're doing this for the first time, these fields will be blank, will be empty. And you need to go and obtain these service keys from your SagePay account. So from here, you would go and log on to merchant.sagepay.co.za to your account that you've registered. You log into your SagePay account. Keep in mind that the SagePay system is an online system. It means you don't have to do any updates ever. It is completely online, 24/7 hours a day. So to get your service keys, you'll go to Account Profile, click on Sage Connect, click on Account Service, and you go to where it says Service Key. You copy the service key, go back to your Evolution, and you can just paste it there. You will need to do the same for Pay Now, risk services, and creditor payments if you decide you want to use the services. Keep in mind that with SagePay, you don't have to use all the services. You can really pick and choose which service you want to sign up for. Once you've done with all of that, you would click on the Validate button. It will tell you it's validated. You click OK. All right. The last thing you have to do with the setup is go and set up an agent to deal with your SagePay account. So for that, you'll go to Evolution Administration. You will click on Agents. We've already set up an admin here. And you'll see when you go into an agent's profile, there's a tab that's asking for SagePay user details. Now, you guys will have to, you can add as many users as you want on your SagePay account. Each user will have his own set of permissions set up by the company itself, also with his own set of login details. So whoever the user is on your Evolution will be able to use the services by putting in his login details in the username, password, and PIN. And you click on OK, and that's it. That's your Evolution is now linked to your SagePay account, and you are ready to use it. You're going to go to Customer Sales. You're going to go to Invoice. At this point, I'd like to point out that I'm going to be showing you how the Pay Now service works. Once you've done the setup, you don't have to change anything in your normal processing of invoices. You're going to be processing an invoice as per normal, like you would do every day. Select. You go and set up your invoice. It's going to ask you, do you want to print the invoice document? You say yes. All right, so this is what the preview of the invoice will look like. I just want to open an actual email with the Evolution invoice in it. You guys can just have a look at it. Important to know that you have to set it up that the invoice gets emailed. For those of you who's not going to email it, this works best when the invoice is emailed as a PDF. All right, so this is what an email will look like. The attachment is provided in a zip file to compress it a bit, but essentially your invoice will be delivered as a PDF. And this is what the invoice will look like. So this is the standard Evolution invoice. Once you've signed up with SagePay and you entered your Pay Now service key, you'll start seeing this footer appearing at the bottom of your invoice. And that's a Sage Pay or the Pay Now footer. And this is what's going to provide the different payment options to your clients. All right, and I just want to quickly go through the payment options. First of all, we offer an EFT payment. Now, you guys probably already have EFT payments, or your client's paying you EFT. This is the same type of EFT with a slight difference that a client can pay from his standard bank account to the Sage Pay standard bank account, or from NetBank to NetBank. And what essentially will happen is money will then be allocated directly to your Sage Pay account. It's important to know that this is still a standard EFT that the client makes, but instead of making it to you, makes it to your Sage Pay account using that specific reference number. The next payment option is the barcode, or what we call a cash option. So the client can print out the invoice or take the invoice or barcode and present it on the mobile device or cell phone. And then you can go to anyone in the Checkers group, which includes OK, House and Home, ShopRite, Checkers, or we can go to the post office and present the barcode to a cashier or to a money market till point. At that point, we call it a cash option, but he can really pay with a card, with debit or credit card or cash. Any payment method that retailer will accept as a payment will count as a payment towards your invoice. Also, we have a QR code here. QR code, if the client decides he wants to complete the transaction or the invoice on his cell phone, he can scan in the QR code. And the QR code will take him to our payment gateway. As well as, if you look at the Sage Pay logo here, if you click on that, it also takes you to our payment gateway. And this is what our payment gateway looks like. Most of the Sage Pay transactions will end up on this page. And this is where you as a customer can really provide all the payment options that you want. What is important to understand with the Pay Now service is there's 6 different payment methods, but you don't have to use them all. If you don't want to use the barcode and you don't want to use normal EFT, you've got full control in your Sage Pay account to deactivate those services at any given time. So the different payment options, you'll see we'll have barcode here again. So the client can, once he clicks on barcode, he can print out the barcode from this page. You'll also see bank EFT again. So Sage Pay also gives you a bank EFT where you can provide your client with different bank accounts to make payment from. So if your client would be making a payment from ABSA, he can pay to the Sage Pay ABSA bank account or to your Sage Pay account. I'm going to quickly show you how to do a credit card, but before I do that, I just want to quickly chat about instant EFT. You should be seeing instant EFT more and more when you guys are doing online shopping. Instant EFT is basically a normal EFT where the difference is there's a software that creates the EFT in the customer's online banking. So a client would select instant EFT, enter his online banking login details, and the software will go in his online banking and set up a once-off payment and submit it. Once it's been submitted, the client will still have to authorize the payment via a one-time PIN that his bank will send him, or the bank will ask him to approve the payment within an app. Instant EFT, as with credit cards, it is an instant notification that the transaction was successful. It doesn't mean you instantly get your money though. And it's the same with credit card. If someone does a credit card transaction, you will be instantly notified that a transaction was done and if it was successful or not. And I just want to quickly show you how to do a credit card transaction. If you'll bear with me for 1 sec, your client will get to a page where he'll enter his credit card details. Important to take note that the bank will allow a card to be used for online purchases or not. So client, if the card is not working, the client is just always check with his bank. He will enter his card details. He'll click on Pay Now. The transaction will then be shown immediately as successful or not. At this point, you can go to your SagePay account and you should be able to log into your SagePay account. Go to services, click on pay now, and you should be able to see the transaction there. It'll be this cash invoice here. As you can see, it shows the zero value. With your pay now transactions, your funds will normally reflect in your SagePay account by the following business day. And that is how you process an invoice. The benefits of this is, instead of having multiple accounts, a merchant facility with the bank for credit cards, another account for your EFTs, and maybe another account for whatever transactions, SagePay is giving you all those payment options on one account, one statement, one service only. Also, with these transactions, they will reflect in your SagePay statement, which is integrated to Evolution. If you're using Bank Manager, SagePay will auto-allocate those transactions to the various accounts within your Evolution, which should save you a bunch of time on reconciliations. All right, guys, that is how you process a pay now invoice, and those are the payment options that you can offer to your client instead of just having EFT. The obvious benefits is saying that if a client does not have money in his bank account, maybe he's got cash, you can do a cash payment. Maybe he's got money in his credit card. Your invoice can be paid to the credit card without needing a merchant facility with the bank. A bunch of other features as well with the Pay Now service, but for now we're just going to deal with the Evolution integration. All right, next up we would want to have a look at processing a supplier payment batch. So this is for when you've loaded your supplier invoices on your parcel Evolution and you've decided now's the time to pay the guys. You would go to suppliers and purchases. You click on automatic payments and remittances. And we have a batch there. All right, so this is the supplier invoice. You can go and decide to pay your supplier less on the invoice than what the invoice amount is loaded for. So let's make that a 10 Rand. You also need to put in a reference number that will appear in your supplier's bank statement, whatever reference you'd like to use there. Once you're ready, you click on process. It will actually be sending your file to your SagePay account as we speak. At this point, if you want to archive or not, you can just say yes or no, depending on what you guys normally do. Nothing changes. Just to show you guys what happened there, you go back to your SagePay account, you go to services, you go to payments, go to creditor batches, and your payment of 10 Rand is there, 25 Rand. Right, it's as simple as that. So to process your payment, please take note that this was a single invoice that we sent to SagePay, and the process is fairly quick. In fact, it was very, very quick. You'd follow the same process if you have 100 or 500 invoices, and the speed in which your payments will reflect in your SagePay account will be more or less the same. It is very quick to do it. So once you've done this, you will need to authorize the payments to be released to your suppliers. You as a company will set up users with specific permissions that will allow them to authorize a batch. If someone does not have that permission, he will not be able to authorize this. Only specific users can authorize this. So you would click on the batch the payments that you want to authorize. For the 2nd of April, dated payment for 10 Rand. You click on authorize. It will give you a summary of the payment. You have the option to send an email or SMS notification to the supplier. When you click on authorize again, SagePay will send a one-time PIN to the cell phone of the user that's logged in to authorize this batch. And once he's entered the one-time PIN there, it's fairly immediate. He clicks on authorize, and that's it. So SagePay will take over from this point. We will have the supplier, the amounts, the bank account details, and we'll send the payments, we'll release the payments to their bank account. Again, these transactions will appear with all your other transactions in one statement. So when you do reconciliation, SagePay will auto-allocate these payments to the supplier account for you inside your Evolution. Again, hopefully saving you hours of time a week or a month. So that is your supplier payments. Right, so now we're quickly going to look at reconciliation. For those of you that is using or that uses Bank Manager for bank statements, you're going to go to General Ledger. Going to go to Cash Book Batches. We have a batch there. And you're going to click on Bank Manager. When you've entered your service key like we did right in the beginning, you'll see the statement provider will now provide an automatic SagePay feed where it will automatically update your statement records from the previous day. Alternatively, you can manually import your SagePay CSV file. So, let's go and delete the SagePay file. Apologies, I think I chose the wrong file there. All right, this is what your SagePay file will look like. You'll see that Evolution recognizes our description fields here as either customer or supplier, and will because of the way that SagePay do it, will automatically allocate it to the client's account or to the supplier's account as is needed. Obviously, there's some transactions, like for instance service fees. Those won't be allocated, but you can just put them on the bank cost and set up a rule or map them for that functionality. And guys, that's it. That really is how you process an invoice using SagePay, or how you provide your SagePay payment options for the Pay Now service, as well as how to pay your suppliers via the SagePay system. To have a look at the SagePay pricing, please contact About IT. They'll provide you with all the information and pricing that you need. If you guys want to know more, again, contact About IT, and I'm hoping to hear from you soon. Thanks a lot. Goodbye.